Guys, what's going on? Sombra del Piso back once again. We in right now España, Barcelona. We're not purposefully here. I would not probably choose to come here unless maybe I was being subsidized or forced at gunpoint to come here or to do so. But it's a nice city anyway, it's pretty. But of course, like with every pretty thing, I think it's meant to conceal something, right? Especially when it's artificially done. So I don't know, we're here. I wanted to talk to you guys about something important, as I usually do, because that's just what I do. I like to give good advice, you know? We already spoke about the languages thing. It's good to know another language. It's good to learn something that's beyond your proclivity to learn. For example, if you live in an American place, there's no one, or people rarely speak Serbian, for example, and you're interested in Serbian, learn Serbian. It'll open your mind. Even though you're not gonna have many people to practice with, it's still a good exercise, and it'll teach you a lot about yourself, which is always, it's never a bad thing. It's never a bad thing. What I also wanna talk about, I guess, this is a little corny, but I guess dating, right? How is dating overseas? How is it radically different than dating in like the Western Europe? I can only imagine, like I said, here in Barcelona, that the dating is pretty similar to that of New York. It's kind of cooked, for sure. Maybe perhaps, depending on where you go in the city, you'll find, you know, much more lively groups of people that are a bit more interactive, for sure. But here in Barcelona, nah, no mames. I can tell. I've been here for like, you know, walking around this place, 30 minutes, 40 minutes already. I haven't really seen anything just exciting. And I've seen people there. There are people of all different walks of life. You know, we have a whole bunch of different people. It's like not as diverse as New York, but diverse nonetheless. But they're all sort of on the same like wavelength. Maybe it's a realization I'm coming to. But let's not get off the rails here. Let's talk about the dating, right? So I think the reason why dating goes awry is for a couple reasons. The primary reason is that of financial and economic opportunity. Unfortunately, if you want to add like economic terms to this, there's an inverse relationship between romance and intimacy coming from people in a relation to the amount of money that they make. So if people make a lot of money, they're not going to tend to not be very romantic, because they understand that money gives them a lot of opportunity. Not only just opportunity in terms of being able to have facades like this right in front of me and reside in them, but also in having a lot of mates, having a lot of different relationships. And so it's almost like a kid in the candy store, because they're offered so much gifts, so much reward, right? They don't need to sort of, for cheap, by the way, for little, for a small price, they don't need to commit to having one candy. Or if you want to sort of take it even further, it's almost like a kid in the candy store without the chaperone of their parent, right? Without the guidance of their parent. And, you know, a whole bunch of money. The kid will go and get a whole bunch of candy because they can do so, and there is no one to stop them. It is the same thing like if you are on that economic scale of having a lot of, you know, opportunity, financial opportunity. That's the unfortunate situation that you see in a lot of these cities. A lot of places like this, Barcelona, España, Barcelona, because there are some poor places in España. Hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Qué tal, señoras?
Hola, bien.
Sí, estoy bien, relajando aquí en las calles. Gracias. They're so nice. They're so nice. That's one situation. I think that when there's a situation, when there is an ecosystem where there is less financial or economic opportunity, you see much more romance. There are some economies, sure, where they tend to, you know, because they don't have a lot of financial opportunity, they tend to be very, what's the word? Salacious is the wrong word, but they're not conniving. Conniving is a bad word. That's a byproduct. But they tend to not really value love, or just they tend to exude intimacy or the promise of intimacy in exchange for things. And one could possibly say that perhaps they do that everywhere that there's the economy is not very strong, in order to have financial opportunity. Okay, fair enough. But at least in my travels, I've traveled to quite the countries. I've been to, like, I could say I've been to 16 countries now. But you definitely do see a correlation between areas that are not super well off versus areas that are very well off in regard to romance and intimacy. Serbia, for example, I think it's one of the most powerful, financially powerful countries in the Balkans. The dinar is worth a lot, and it's very, very strong. And when I was in Belgrade, a lot of the things were very, very expensive, which is very indicative of, well, maybe it's indicative of hyperinflation, but it also, on the flip side, is indicative of a robust economy. So when I was there, it seemed like a lot of the people were very, very open. They were very, they wanted to chat. They were very interested in connections. They were very interested in getting to know you, going out with you, having a drink. Eastern Europe is just a little east, a couple 100 miles east of this place. People were just more interested in connection. I think here, and there were cities too. I was in Belgrade. I was in Tirana for Albania. I was in Pristina. And people were just a bit more open in those places. I think that, seriously, there's an economic relationship, right? I think there's a relationship between the amount of money that someone makes and the amount of intimacy that they are prone to exude and express. This is a good study. I feel like it's probably done before, but maybe a much more microeconomic level. But I don't know, I think it's something worth looking into. I don't think anyone has brought that up in a very, very long time. Yeah, this is the reality. I think that what we need to do, really, as people, like maybe we're coming from the Western world or the East, right? Because, you know, well, actually, I don't think a lot of people in China make too much money, but they do have comfortable lives, which is also something of relation between countries that are not as well off as, you know, say some Western countries that are from the East or from other places. I think that there's something that can be said. I think as an individual coming from a Western society that make a lot of money, I think that we need to, it's good to integrate into these cultures that are not as well off and try to learn a lot from their overall general satisfaction with the state of things regarding personal affairs, domestic affairs, and just things around them. There is something that could be said about people that don't necessarily desire too much, right? But are still satisfied, that are still happy, that are still pleased. I'm still learning it myself, I am, but and it's gonna take some time, but anything that's worth having is worth waiting for, is worth being patient for. I don't know, this place, Spain, I don't know. There's a lot that we could, I could deduce from just being here for an hour, right? Just at least here. Like I said, we're going to, after this video here, we're gonna head to another neighborhood in this place, because this is not real. This place is not real. Like, we see this everywhere. If you went to Dubai, you could see this, right? So I wanna see what's very uniquely Spain. We're gonna figure that out. Guys, if you enjoy that kind of content, like, comment, subscribe, share the video with some peers. Listen, don't ever let this place get you down, man. It's always good to travel. It's always good to see what else is out there. It's always good to integrate into different cultures. Try your best. If you don't like what you see, at least you don't like what you see based on what you've personally observed. One can generally say something. I mean, the sentiments about a city tends to be very subjective, right? Sometimes people might have a bad connection with the city, and so it's not very accurate. And it's not as accurate as, say, the dimensions of a door, right? Within an X by Y threshold, right? Those are a bit more objective, and those can't really be disputed unless we're going into aesthetics. But for the most part, I don't know. It's good to personally check out a situation, personally check out an economy, personally check out a country, and draw conclusions for yourself. Dating may be differently for some people here than it is for a lot of people, right? Which, you know, it's accurate. Just check it out. Check it out. Never hurts. Stay radiant, guys. I'm gonna see you guys in the next video.